This is Logan Lucky, the latest film from director Steven Soderbergh after coming out of his retirement, because apparently when you go work in TV and skip movies for 5 years, that's considered a retirement, but whatever, that's his call. And I actually had to look up that title before hitting record, because before this movie was coming out and before I went to see it, I kept calling it Lucky Logan, but it's actually Logan Lucky. But anyway, this movie stars Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, Katie Holmes, and some other people, and involves a family called the Logans who are just down on their luck. They can't really do anything right. They're not that wealthy. They can't hold down a job. So because of all their bad luck and because of why the hell not, they decide to pull off a heist, steal some money from the Charlotte Motor Speedway during Memorial Day weekend, which pretty much means that they're robbing NASCAR, which pretty much means that they're robbing money from a NASCAR event, which in my opinion is a service to humanity all over the place. And they enlist the help of a professional convict who's played by Daniel Craig. And that's pretty much what the movie is. It's a heist movie if you mixed Ocean's 11 with a Coen Brothers film. Because when this movie starts out, it feels so very much like a Coen Brothers movie. It just has that dry sense of humor that the Coen Brothers are usually known for. And it's normally a situation where I'd say, oh man, Steven Soderbergh's ripping off the Coen Brothers. But Steven Soderbergh's own filmography has a ton of variety to it. If you were to take movies like Ocean's 11, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Magic Mike, Haywire, and Logan Lucky, and tell somebody who's not a film expert that they were all directed by the same guy, they'd look at you and go, bullshit, they were not directed by the same guy. But that's just a compliment to how much range Soderbergh has as a director and how great he is with actors, because I don't think this movie would have been anything without the performances from your actors. I mean, Soderbergh does a great job directing, but the actors do a fantastic job as well. Channing Tatum, who at one point was ridiculed and considered a terrible actor, has definitely had his career turned upside down, partially thanks to Soderbergh, and he's great in the movie. My two favorite characters and actors in the movie, though, are Adam Driver as Channing Tatum's brother, and then Daniel Craig. Daniel Craig is probably the most impressive actor in the movie in terms of his performance, because we all know Daniel Craig as James Bond. So for British-ass Daniel Craig to do this flawless American accent is hilarious, and he pulls it off perfectly. The southern accent is just so spot on, to the point where you kind of forget that Daniel Craig is actually British. It's that good. But getting back to Adam Driver might be my favorite character in the whole movie. Just because out of all the Logan siblings, he's probably the dumbest one, but he just has me laughing hard. And a lot of it does have to do with his stone-cold, expressionless face, which is also helped by a really good script as well. The humor in this movie is just so dry, but spot on. There are several points in this movie where I was laughing hard, mainly from Adam Driver and just the way he delivered his lines, but there are a lot of other really funny bits throughout the movie. I don't know, it's just a really entertaining movie. It moved really quickly for the first 2/3. I can't really say I was bored, and I was invested in what was going on with these guys trying to rob this speedway and try to get away with it. It's kind of an ego thing as well, but it's also a point of desperation since this family is not entirely wealthy, which again is further proof that this is kind of in the vein of a Coen Brothers movie, because the characters are just downright weird, but they're amusing. You also have some other noticeable people in this movie who are in really small roles, but they do a good job. You got Katherine Waterston in it, you got Katie Holmes, who really surprised me, considering that I've never really found her to be a good actor to begin with. And then you have Seth MacFarlane, who is completely unrecognizable. I even had to look him up on Wikipedia to see who he actually played in the movie, because if you watch this movie from beginning to end and then the credits roll and you see his name, you're just going to say, wait, Seth MacFarlane was in this movie? Not recognizing Seth MacFarlane and Katie Holmes actually giving a great performance really played to the aspect that Soderbergh is fantastic with actors, because this is the same guy that got Sasha Grey, a porn star, to give a really good performance in The Girlfriend Experience when she didn't have any acting experience at all. And then the same thing with Gina Carano, who's mainly known for fighting, to give a really good performance in Haywire. So it's well directed all around. The only real criticisms that I have is that I felt like the end of the movie, like the last third, just felt a little too long. It could have been a little tighter in terms of wrapping the story up. And in a way, it felt like the Return of the King of heist movie endings, just in the fact that, okay, when's this gonna end? You've made your point, just end it now. You don't need to continue from this point on. So that's probably my only real criticism of Logan Lucky, but overall, this is a really entertaining movie. I laughed a lot. There's a lot of clever things going on in it. The performances are fantastic. It's well shot. It's just a great time all around. Nothing too spectacular because it does have a few familiar elements from other movies, but you know what? If you're entertained throughout the movie, then it shouldn't really matter. So definitely worth seeing in your lifetime. Nothing that you really need to rush out and see because it's not jaw-droppingly amazing, but it's really entertaining, really well done. I had a lot of fun with this. And that's my review for Logan Lucky. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on the movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.